Have you ever caught yourself saying, "I'm stressed," but who isn't? This phrase, so common in our daily lives, reveals a painful truth. We have normalized stress. We have turned the survival state of alert into a routine accessory, almost a badge of honor that proves how busy, important, and productive we are. We accept the knot in the throat, the tension headache that arises in the middle of the afternoon, and the stubborn insomnia as if they were just the price to pay for living in this modern world. If you identify with this normalization, you probably feel the weight of this normal stress in ways that go far beyond a bad day. Maybe it's that silent irritability that makes you explode for a small reason, or the difficulty remembering simple details, as if your mind were covered by a thin fog. It might be the feeling of permanent exhaustion, a depletion that resists coffee and long hours of sleep, leaving you always operating on reserve. This is the hidden pain, the body screaming for rest, while the mind insists that it's just another day. The problem is not stress itself. Stress, in acute doses, is a brilliant defense system that drives us and protects us. The problem is the stress that has become chronic, the stress that you called normal, and, in doing so, stopped listening to when you classify stress as just part of life. You silence the internal alarms and allow a low-grade biological war to silently destroy the architecture of your body and mind. We live in a culture that glorifies struggle and haste, and in this culture, the fight-or-flight mode has become the default way of life for millions of people. Our sympathetic nervous system, our biological accelerator, is being triggered, not by a wild lion, but by tight deadlines, constant phone notifications, financial uncertainties, and the invisible pressure of social media. And with each activation, the body floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline. Imagine your body as a high-performance machine. A rush of adrenaline is like a turbo boost, fantastic for a 5-minute emergency. But living in chronic stress is like keeping the turbo on for months on end, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Before long, the engine starts to overheat. What happens, subtly and devastatingly, when the stress you normalized continues to bombard your system? First, it destroys your brain chemistry. Excess cortisol is corrosive to certain areas of the brain, especially the hippocampus, which is the center for memory and learning. That's why you have that constant feeling of brain fog and difficulty concentrating. Your brain is so busy processing danger signals that it doesn't have the bandwidth for memory or creativity. Chronic stress leaves you reactive and non-thinking. Second, it steals your restorative sleep. Sleep is the time when the body performs biological housekeeping, clearing toxins and consolidating memories. But if you lie down with high levels of cortisol and adrenaline, your body cannot transition into the deep, restorative sleep that is the domain of your parasympathetic system. You enter light sleep and remain in a state of semi-alert. Your body is resting, but your mind is patrolling the environment for threats. The result, you wake up as tired as when you went to bed. Insomnia, often, is your nervous system saying, "I'm not safe enough to shut down." Third, and most dangerously, chronic stress erodes your immune system. In the initial stages of acute stress, the immune response is boosted to heal wounds. But under the constant bombardment of cortisol, the immune system begins to become confused and fatigued. It can become inflammatory, contributing to chronic pain, increased allergies, and slower recovery from illness. Or it can become suppressed, making you more susceptible to viruses and infections. Illness, often, is the end result of a body that was too busy fighting an internal stress to fight external threats. If you identify with this feeling of always being on edge, or with illnesses that persist, it is a powerful sign that you need to reverse the normalization of this stress. If you are looking for tools to regain balance, subscribe to continue learning to tread this path back to calm. The normalization of stress also has a profound and destructive effect on our relationships and our emotional balance. An overloaded nervous system has a very narrow window of tolerance. This means that your ability to handle frustrations, disagreements, and minor annoyances is drastically reduced. The stress you called normal turns into chronic irritability. Emotional exhaustion means you no longer have the necessary energy to exercise patience and empathy. A small question from your partner or child can be interpreted by your nervous system as just another demand, another threat to your already depleted energy reserve, and your response is disproportionate. You react with anger, impatience, or sudden isolation. The truth is that kindness and calm require an energy resource that chronic stress completely drains. When the body is in fight or flight, it does not have time for affection, for dialogue, for connection. It is focused only on survival. And so, chronic stress does not just destroy your body. It destroys your ability to connect deeply and to love with presence. Have you ever felt something like this? The moment you overreacted, and then immediately regretted it, knowing that your reaction came from tiredness and not from your heart. Share it in the comments. Perhaps someone needs to read your story and understand that this reactivity is not a character flaw, but a biological sign of depletion. The path back, the path to denormalize stress and honor your body's need for calm, begins with body reconnection. Chronic stress makes us live dissociated, stuck in our heads, in thoughts and worries, while ignoring the body's sensations. The first act of resistance against normalized stress is to feel the body. This is not complex. It is simply bringing your attention to what is happening now. Feel the weight of your body in the chair or on the floor. Feel the touch of your clothes on your skin. Notice the temperature of the air. By doing this, you are taking energy away from racing thoughts and investing it in the present moment, which is the only place where safety resides. Conscious breathing is the fastest tool to recalibrate the system. Remember, trapped, shallow breathing is the breathing of chronic stress. To turn the tide, you need to activate your vagus nerve, the conductor of calm, and you do this by lengthening the exhale. Think of it. Inhale slowly into your belly, counting to 3 or 4, and exhale, releasing the air slowly and completely, counting to 6 or 7. By making the exhale longer, you are sending a clear and undeniable signal to your brain. There is no immediate danger. We can relax and disarm. Repeating this pattern for just 1 or 2 minutes is like a mini reset for your nervous system. It is a way of saying, I see the stress, but I choose calm now. The true cure for mental exhaustion and nervous dysregulation requires a commitment to genuine rest, not just inactivity. We often confuse sitting on the couch and scrolling on the phone, which is more stimulation. With rest, genuine rest is the intentional activation of your parasympathetic system. This can mean intentional silence. 5 minutes without a screen, without music, without speaking. Just the ambient sound, or the silence. Initially, your stressed body may resist this silence, feeling it as a void or a threat. Persist with kindness. Silence is the place where your mind can finally stop patrolling. It can mean safety touch, the self-hug, the gentle caress on your own arm or face. Touch is the oldest language of security. It can mean restorative movement, not high-intensity training that raises cortisol, but slow, fluid movements, like gentle stretching, restorative yoga, or an unhurried walk, feeling the rhythm of your feet on the ground. These movements help the body to discharge the fight-or-flight energy that has accumulated in muscle tension. It is through these acts of somatic self-compassion that you begin to deconstruct the belief that stress is normal. You are teaching your body a new truth. I am worthy of rest and I am safe enough to receive it. The journey to reverse the damage of normalized stress is a journey of personal sovereignty. It is the conscious decision not to submit to the tyranny of haste and depletion. It is an act of courage to say, I will no longer allow my survival system to be activated by a world that demands more from me than I can give. Remember, your body is an ally, not an enemy. The aches, the tiredness, the irritability, are just messengers that have gotten louder because you stopped responding to the whispers. By resuming listening, by bringing the breath back, by honoring the pause, you are repairing your chemistry, strengthening your immunity, and, most importantly, widening your capacity to feel peace. You are in the process of reprogramming your internal setpoint from survival to thriving. It is a slow but deeply rewarding work. Every conscious choice of calm is a vote in favor of your long-term health. You deserve a body that functions in harmony, a mind that finds silence, and a heart that connects without exhaustion. It is entirely possible to dismantle the belief that stress is normal and build a life that honors your biological need for peace and safety. I will be here, a beacon of calm, to guide you through this journey. Trust your body and its innate ability to return to balance.